Hi, everybody. If you find the Realize Infinite Heart video, that is the first of a series of 14 clips, open source, free, successively on my YouTube playlist. So that's a way you can go through and review, and I'm fairly sure that most of those videotapes will reward repeated listening. So that's just to sum up and have people know there's resources to follow up with that and stay in touch that way. There are going to be other ways. Now next, what I haven't said before on any of those blurbs, this is all directed to you. In the sense that everything you do, all the higher advanced work you do, all the Avalon moves from pulse to meet to double to soul forward involve you by means of all you bring to bear. And all you bring to bear is youing. I'm going to suggest that we make up a little new language to go along with the Nobel-winning insight of 1900 that all is energy, and energy is action, which was summed up in 1929 by great thinker Alfred North Whitehead. There are no things, only events. So when we speak of pieces and parts of us and our mind and our body and other sorts of things, we are in a pre-1900 frame of mind making things out of what is endlessly dynamic. And you are endlessly dynamic. You are always recognizable, but always evolving and moment to moment new. So is Mama Cosmos, so is all energy. So youing you, out of you, by means of you, into more of you, is a way of keeping track of how it is you can be answerable, responsible for, and enter into all of you. Now, what's all of you? You go in front of a mirror, and you know there's head, torso, stomach, and of course the other things we keep hidden, genitals. The point is that standard psychology talks about thinking and the nervous system and the brain and all the rest. And then we think about processing, feeling, and all the rest. And then we work on maybe our ability to commit an action. And then we maybe go to a tantric class or other kind of pleasures there. But we come already as a synchrony of all this. And I mention it because the discovery of a lifetime for me, getting up and finding what some of you have already seen me do, that when I got almost 50 years of experience in me, I got up one day from devotions, found myself moving in a way that had so much energy coming in and felt so good. I thought, oh my goodness, this is marvelous. And with clairsentient ability to measure how much was coming, I realized my aura was doubling within minutes. That's unheard of. And all my joints were going this figure 8. And then I noticed that all the joints, all 12 plus 1, what's 12 plus 1 joints? What's going on? Doubling? That's cosmic dimensions in almost no time. 1,000 double, 10 doubles is 1,000 times. 20 doubles, 20 days, that's 1,000,000. What? And so the only way I could begin to understand this was in cosmic terms, that every manifestation of the cosmos has, among other ways of delineating the fourfold: solid, liquid, gas, heat, the original elements of earth, water, air, and fire. And on earth, we have mineral, vegetable, animal, and human. And so do we have 4 systems. Now, those 4 systems multiply into all kinds of numerical combinations, which you can go into. But the point is that the moves I discovered, and most easily taught when people are sitting, involve all of you, particularly if you learn to think into each moment or notice each moment, feel into each moment, moment to moment to moment, and respond in each moment, moment to moment, and infuse pleasure into, to take pleasure, to enjoy in each moment. That makes a pace that leads, as I show on that videotape, welcoming, from doing something as a controlled action to allowing, to eventually opening. And if you awaken in the midst of welcoming, you'll notice you're being welcomed into it. Your body is made for you to welcome into, incarnate at this level. So I'm going to take you through that right now, which is going to be a repeat for many of you. Some of you it's going to be new. And you'll see it's utterly aligned with all in Avalon. It's just a way to enhance, refine, and deepen what it is that we do there. So, to start, was an amazing discovery after spending years trying to show people how to do figure eights with their shoulders and hips in a contralateral way like a baby, that if you just do the figure eighting with the heart, that generates those moves in all the other major joints to the extent that you open up. And to help you with the heart, it's great to melt through the usual ways we all stiffen there. You'll notice generally we keep our sternum very stiff. And particularly people of a certain gender persuasion have learned how to fend off certain ways of being, what can we say, intruded on energetically in this part of the body. So to help with it, curl up like a turtle and close your chest. Really squeeze your chest in with a big fat no. No, I don't want any more that I have to deal with. No, I don't want any invasiveness. No, I don't want any intrusiveness. You're recapitulating your early development when, before you can really say yes, you need to be able to say no. So grant yourself this squeezing in, and then roll your pelvis forward and let the arching in your lower back come up and go into peacock, where you extend your arms up, let your neck and head come back, your mouth open, your middle of your chest out, flaunt your stuff. Oh, wow. Yes. Yes. Good. And come on back. Come on back. And then sit. And then figure eight with the middle of your chest up and to the right, peacock, down turtle. Imagine that you're in a plane that's not horizontal or vertical, but you're going at 45-degree angle to the floor and ceiling. You're going up and to the right with your heart and down and back. And then up and to the left and down and back. And the more you loosen in your neck, the more you'll notice, without working at it, that your chest goes one way and your nose goes another. And if it doesn't go like that, don't worry about it. You'll loosen up the more you do this. And here's what I'd like you to do. I'd like you to continue to do this. Close your eyes and feel. Notice each moment. Go patiently, gently, and sensitively. That means patient. Notice this, notice this, notice this. Gently feel this, feel this, feel this. And sensitively respond to this. Moment to moment, this is just what's happening. Emerging newly moment to moment. And then, let me add in here, in the name of all the higher beings who bring you and us here together, Alanya, the sponsoring one, God, Spirit, Universe, Higher Power, Gush, G-U-S-H, and any other ones who would be good to acknowledge, that you let them come in and consider that the genius of these movings that recapitulated what you were able to do as an infant learning to crawl, is that not just they correspond with a name given in 1655 to the infinity symbol. This is the movement of energy through all the energy fields in the cosmos. And it is also the way you introduce a cosmically originating hug into all of you. As you think, feel, act, and enjoy here, you're involving all of you. Nervous system, cardiovascular system, metabolic, reproductive, the thinking, feeling, acting, enjoying, all of this. So that You may soothe whatever leftovers, little ones still could really use it in you. We'll do that some here. You will soothe negative energy anytime you do this, and invite in the strengthening that comes. And that doesn't have to be anything you work at. You welcome being welcomed into it. It's your natural birthright. And now I'll say what is rarely strung together, who you are as deathless spirit, cosmic being. Here in this phase of your multi-generational project of bringing heaven to earth as only you uniquely can, this is a way into the sacred cosmic dance that fuses meditative, yogic-like Qigong energy healing gestures that you can do minutes, anytime, any place. So if you've had enough, and I think you probably have, you just stop and just notice how you are and see what's happened. And I have some people who have a little experience of this, so the people who haven't met with me before like this, let me give precedence to Karen and Allison. You don't have to mute yourselves here. And let me just find out, how was that? Either one or both of you?
I can feel like there's a pulsation in my...
You can feel, I'm sorry.
A pulsation, do you say? A pulse? As if there is a pulse in my whole body system.
Mm-hmm.
It's a pulse, energy.
Do you like that?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Notice what you just said with your face is a whole other comment.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Sometimes I refer to this as joygasming.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? It doesn't have to be genital, but it sure feels good. Yes. Very cool. Good. Allison, how was that for you?
I feel very much of like a sensation of a building energy that I really want to get up and kind of move my body more. But there's also, as I sit still, there's still kind of a sense of movement happening.
Yes, the reverberations will continue. Beautiful. Okay. Do you like that?
Yes.
Oh, good. Hold
I had to think about it.
With her face.
It depends on the situation.
Well, we're talking right now.
Right now, yes.
Good. Yes. This is a good feeling that you can tell is good. This is the answer to all addictions. To feel this kind of good, at least it can be, if you're willing to use it that way. So, now, there's something else I can show you. With any one of you, and with somebody like Eve, who I have the permission to feel her energies, how much did her aura just change? 2 times? Yes. When my hands stop, that's the yes. When it's, is Eve standing on her head right now? No. Is Tataya a male? No. Is Thomas smiling? Yes, way out here. So, you know, there are pendulums and there's all kinds of dowsing and everything else. The advantage of reading with the hands is you get not only yes and no, but you can get analog readings or comparative quantities. Like when I first met Eve, how was her vitamin A? Deficient. Vitamin B was kind of okay. Vitamin C, deficient. Vitamin D, deficient. What is it now? A, B, C, D, and so on. And I can check out a profile. And what was her crown energy like before we started here today? Crown, forehead, middle of the brow, ajna, throat, creative, heart, way out here, solar plexus in here, the navel, sex, basic or root chakra. What are they now? Crown, forehead, between the eyes, throat, heart, solar plexus, navel, sex, root. These moves, I discovered to my surprise, without having to work at it, introduce a balance in the chakras. Doesn't last. It can be 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, an hour or so, but with practice, you come into balancing more and more, as well as cleansing and expanding. As for expanding, in this short time, how much did her aura expand? Doubled? Yeah. 2, 4, 8, 16, 32, not 64. 32 times. That's wild. And in a way that's balanced. Now, it's not going to stay like that. But I began working with Eve, over a month ago. How much has her aura expanded? 2 times? Yes. Well, I know already to skip, and I'm used to counting by the powers of 2. 2 times 2 is 4, 2 times 2 times 2 is 8, 2 times 2 is 6, and so on. 2, 4, 8, 16. 10 times is 10, 1,024. Yeah, she's out 1,000 times. 2, 4, 8, 16, 32, 64, 128, 256. Is she out 1,000,000 times? Yes. 2,000,000 times? Not quite. So she's gone out doubling clearly 20 days worth. She'll soon have an aura that reaches into the solar system. And I have never read of that as a possibility. So these moves that has come as a fusion of now 50 years of my own meditative yoga, energy healing, qigong, and other psychological body practices have brought in a practice that's available to advance the advanced. Y'all get this immediately. Most people don't. But you can start getting what the promise of this is. It doesn't make you skilled at some particular activity, but you, as able to you energetically, that becomes more available for you the more you practice. Now, so what can you do with this? I have worked with Eve and had some exchanges with Tataya, Eve most of all. And she has an experience of what it's like, and we may eventually get, or before long, get a couple of videotapes we made of our exchanges. One that we call Misery to Joy, where she was not feeling very good one day. But within the first half hour, her moving, my responding, letting her move me to channel her back to her, you'll see her peel open and it just expand extraordinarily. In a more recent video, where we took up one of her highest issues that's pervasive throughout the New Consciousness community, meeting with God. How to meet God. What is it to meet God? Personally deal with your issues in meeting with God. And it's quite a wonderful, what she went through. She's, well, you know Eve. So those are all possible. What's possible to do here with you all is ask a following question. Since you are here with me tonight and not out walking on water, I will assume you have some issues that have not got completely resolved yet. Now you can designate one of those, and we can do a little work where you use the moves and to whatever degree you feel comfortable interacting with me. And by the way, I didn't say at the beginning, I'll assume that since you're on this video and we're recording, that that's okay with you. Is that okay with you? Karen, Allison, Eve, Tatan? Good, all right. So if you have something you're willing to share as an issue, and then let me use what I call subtle energy literacy, read energetically, I'll be able to help you pinpoint what may not be so easy to do intuitively. For example, Eve, may I? You know, Eve's had some not so easy times. How hard was it the first year of her life? Not that hard. Second? Yes. Third? Yes. Fourth? And I can even get very numerical in this. How many times did she leave her body because it was so bad, dissociating? First year of life? I don't get. Second year of life? Yes. Once, twice, three, four times. Third year of life? Yes. How many times? 5 for sure. 5, because I can feel it strong. 5, 10, 15 times. That's a lot, the third year of life. Fourth year of life? Yes. But that's even stronger. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 times the fourth year of life. So when we work, I know where to start with when the trouble started and that you're still carrying. When we say you get little in Avalon, whatever age comes to you and you're associating, of course, relevant. But likely underneath that is the initial shrinking and shriveling that likely antedates anything you can remember. Likely, not necessarily. So I can also test, of the first 4 years of life, her original trauma, how much is still how much of the symptoms of that time remain? Symptoms greatly reduced. How much of the underlying traumatic energy of that time remains? That was the original. What is it now? It's reduced somewhat. Not entirely. And by the way, I only know to do this because once I got clairsentient at age 68, I went and asked myself, oh, hey, let's find out what this guy who's an expert on healing trauma from the Vietnam War, let's find out about him. My original symptom, my symptoms now, almost all gone. Oh, good, good. My original traumatic energy, how much did I have then, 40 years later? What? I'm an expert at this. How can that be? And the humbling discovery, watching YouTube videos and people on the internet, I found that this is, with the rarest exception, the case with almost everybody who claims to heal or clear trauma, reduce symptoms, underlying energy they don't get. And then I realized that the underlying energy has to do with this from the earliest days, weeks, months of life, where we learn how to go, I'm fine, but stiff as a board. Only as the inner hugging is directed consciously into soothing our babies from long ago does that get relieved. So I'm saying a lot here. This is a video you can watch and unpack. I also have a book that is nearing completion called Realize Infinite Heart, Enlighten, Endear, Empower, Enjoy. It has a whole lot of this laid out in far more detail. So back to whoever might want to work on something right here tonight. Got any volunteers? Or you just need one? Karen, you are such a trooper. You know that word? A trooper is like a soldier, you know.
Yes, I'm a trooper. Yeah.
Yeah, wonderful. Very good. So that you're willing to do this at 2 o'clock in the morning.
2.5.
Work on yourself and have this divulged. Thank you very much. And I know I can pick up your gifts. I can tell how gifted Karen is. Like I can feel her chakras. She is very connected, spiritually, intuitively, intelligently, creatively, compassionately, very volatile. Okay, there's a hum. Is that with you, Karen?
Unmuted and
Oh, yes, it's you. But
is with Karen, yeah.
but we'll need to be able to hear you talk. So let's see what'll happen. There, good. So I can take the liberty, if you wish. Karen, can you tell, you've cleared up a lot of symptoms. The underlying trauma, still pretty prominent. From what period of life? Is from the first 5 years? Not so much. Second 5 years? Some. Third 5 years? A whole lot. Early teens. Fourth 5 years? No. Fifth 5 years? So the third 5 years, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15? No. 11 through 14, does that ring true, Karen?
I don't know. My brother died in that period. No, I was 15 then.
Wow, wow. So is that it? Was there something else? And before his death, was there something?
Yeah. I think I was 13.
Yes. Yes.
And I was living with my sister, one of my sisters. And her husband was very present and very...
We can get it. We can get it.
Yeah.
That sounds very right. Yes. And you've worked on this.
Not really on that. It kind of didn't feel like a big thing. Yeah.
So just that much is a fair amount to go ahead and, you know, if I talk to you longer, I would get more of a sense of how you comfort and how you wisely console. So you all know you've done a lot of work on yourself and people. To be able to take a kind of intuitive sense of what can go on with people and translate it into empirically verifiable questions to pinpoint in time and extent what's going on and what somebody's carrying. You know, I've been doing this for 50 years. It's amazing. This came to me just in the last few years to be able to do this. So I know you know. Not everybody wants you to do this with them, but when there's permission and opening and willingness and interest, it's wondrous to be able to have an additional way to verify, corroborate what someone senses with a reading that's not imposed on them, dictated to them, but rather in the form of a intuitively informed hunch. Could it be that in the third period of life something happened to you, 11 to 14? And she goes, oh yeah, one thing. And then anything else? And she goes, oh yes. And it turns out it's something she hasn't worked on. Only this is a very worked human being. And we all have stuff like that. So, now, what would be possible is for me to move and send some energy into that time for her, so that when she comes back, oh, okay, I won't do this. Yeah. Welcome back. So you know that we get the immense trust that you are demonstrating in allowing us to respond to you in this way, right? You get that. Good. So I was saying that just the two situations you've pinpointed, while I don't have much of a sense of you yet and how you speak to people or how you would, I can nevertheless sort of channel that back to you I can guide you in the moving, and so you are very specifically directing with your attention, awareness, the soothing into 13-year-old Karen. And you were 15 when your brother died? Okay. And all the things that happen afterwards. Because for sure, since you've gone like this with one, you didn't get endless amounts of this and understand. So that's what we're going to invite you to do retroactively now in such a way that you introduce deep soothing there. And then we'll be able to check how well did we do energetically. Okay, so we won't have to make something up and say, well, you have to have a breakthrough, and then I had a breakthrough, so it's all cured. No. We'll check energetically and see what degree. All right? So if you would all join me and Karen in moving, sending your energy to her, she'll have that much more contact, Avalon style, to take with her in making contact with little Karens. Okay? So turtle a little and peacock a little so that you have more opening in the middle of your chest, upper chest and back, and then go into turtling and peacocking, figure eighting with the middle of your chest, and patiently, gently, sensitively, if you're going strenuously and dramatically, you might try a little understatement. And with the blessing of all higher powers, bring Karen the soothing that she can take with her to meet who she was at age 13, having to deal with a kind of invasiveness, unwanted, unkind, uncaring, devoid of the kind of profound respect, understanding that she should have been due at that time and in all the times that followed. Understood, hugged, that somebody would have understood and noticed and called somebody to account for what they had no business doing, so that she could come back together with a sense of herself and her inner wholeness and her fullness, the profound wellness right with her, the world, people. And bring her the strength that she wasn't able to develop in that time, having to close herself down protectively. Soothe that protectiveness so that now that strength can come retroactively from the great being she has become. Let her immense caring that she's capable of giving to other people pour into these versions of her that still live with her, but haven't received that depth of care before now to the degree she's capable of it. And to her 15-year-old Karen, having to deal with dying. Nobody had yet carried her into what she now, as the spiritual being she is, knows that we're all deathless spirits, cosmic beings. Death is a passage. The loss and the hurt and the pain, yes, always register in us emotionally. But at 15, without the care and the kindness and the support and the understanding, how does a child, not yet a woman, know that? Care for her now, reassure her, be with her as fully as you can. And let her know that that's part of her initiation. In fact, it all is. Into the invasiveness, intrusiveness, the ruptures that can happen in this life that you've dedicated yourself to dealing with, or you wouldn't be on this call, not in this community. And so you've been called, as All of us have been, by pain. This Vietnam veteran complicit in state-sanctioned mass murder is here 50 years later saying this kind of stuff to fellow spiritual warriors who've gotten good at turning shit into fertilizer. Yes, dear heart, yes, you're one of us. A very prominent one of us. So let's see how we are at this point and see if you just let yourself be, Karen, how you are inside. Yes, 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 yes. That gesture says a great deal. Very good. Beautiful. You want to say anything? Don't have to.
Feel as if my column is more open. I feel as if my column is more open.
Yes. Just your crown?
The column, Artie. The column, not the crown. The column.
Thank
the
you.
column.
Thank you. Yes, the column's more open. 2, 4, 8, 16, 32 times more open. And how are your little Karens? Do you have any sense?
Not really. I just feel my throat chakra much more. It's like pulsating.
Yes. And who is your throat chakra to you? Who is the Karen living in your throat chakra? Did you go to church ever?
When I was younger, yes.
Did you learn the Lord's Prayer?
Yes.
Jesus was a Kabbalist. He translated the first chapter of the book of the Bible, Genesis, into a 12-phrase Lord's Prayer. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread. Forgive us our trespasses as we forgive those who trespass against us. Lead us not in temptation to sex. Deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the root, the power, throat, the glory above the crown. And the power is the word. The creative word through which all creation is spoken into being. Your throat's more open. Your power has been enhanced creatively. Does that ring true? You don't know. Okay. When I check the suffering of 13-year-old Karen before we did this, and the suffering now, I get a little left, but not much. The suffering of 15-year-old Karen before we began, the suffering of 15-year-old Karen now? A little left, not much. You can do this more on your own. Very specifically into there. And anything else you designate in your life.
Can you say everything you designate?
Anything else that you designate in your life, that you pinpoint, that you realize, oh, see, does Karen have stuff from the first 5 years, the second 5 years? Mostly we focus where you have it, but there could be situations that you have now that you know would be good to soothe and strengthen yourself, to clean and everything else. So you now know how to do it. You add this to whatever else you know how to do, it will be dramatically enhanced. Because you unleash more of you with these moves by reaching up, bringing down, and extending down into where our stuff is rooted. So I've found many hundreds of times. And your gifts are such, you're very welcome, that you were able to use this very well. Very cool. So, any concluding questions, comments, suggestions? We don't have to go a full hour. And the shorter the video, the more enticing it is to other people to watch. So, you know.
I'm curious if, Alison, you want to experience something with Artie. I don't know if you want to share.
Beyond what she already got, the hit she already got. Because Alison, originally 50, 100, 150, vast heart. She's already got a huge amount, and 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, highly intuitive. So it's not like she hasn't gotten huge hits. And also very connected upstairs. I notice for years I've looked to spread this work, and who appears? The advance. I finally call it for advance in the advance. Amazing beings appear, self-selected. This is not yet for the masses. It will be, but not yet. You're the ones who have to take it out there, not me. You get that? Alison, do you get that? Karen, do you get that? You all get that, right?
And Tataya, to answer your question, yes, but I'm feeling really self-conscious about it being recorded. So that's where I am with it.
Stay safe. There are other ways to get a hold of me. Okay?
Thank you.
You're very, very welcome.
And you can always find him on the community to reach out. Yeah.
So you all, thank you for co-creating this with me.
There's one thing I wanted to add, that in my practice of this, sometimes I need to start with more of the turtle and the no and the internal screaming and the kicking of legs, and actually speaking words that like flow through first to get me connected more to that child. And then when that's done, I can bring in the comfort.
Yes, yes, yes. Tailored individually, can't beat tailoring it individually and taking the time that would be most good rather than being squeezed into a preset interval. But yes, thank you. And those videotapes will be available. Yeah.
Artie, I feel blasted with light, with joy. Like I'm sitting here in my energy field. I don't know where I end and life begins. So it's just one current. And it's beautiful. Thank you.
You don't end.
Yeah.
Cosmic beings don't end.
Yeah, that's it.
And so filling that out more with aura, as well as, you know, the spiritual essence of it, is what this affords us.
Mm.
This is for the good guys to take power, mostly women, you notice?
I have a lot of women as well.
Pardon me?
I have a lot of women as well.
Yes, me too. I'm a devotee of divine feminine. I come from a lineage. I didn't know that as a young macho soldier football player, but I do now. So very beautiful. Thank you all.
Artie, I want to thank you for bringing this. I've done this with you, and actually today there's something about just walking through with it with your voice. There's a huge range of things going on in me right now, and it's both very silent and sacred, yet very solid and stabilizing.
Wonderful. Very glad. It's a great combination. That's called heaven and earth, man. That's what we're here to bring together.
So I'm really grateful. I'm glad you wanted to share this.
Great. Me too. And the best conclusion are the most powerful words I know how to say in blessing. They're in the Bible, the founding text of Western spirituality, where God says to Moses, who led the people out of slavery, which is understood not only as political oppression, but inward self-oppression, the words for his brother to say to the children of Israel, understood Kabbalistically as humans whose Yisrael, people who struggle with God the divine. And the blessing I'll say and translate phrase by phrase. Yivarechecha Adonai v'yishmerecha. May God bless you and keep you. Ya'er Adonai panav elecha v'yihunecha. And may God bring the light of his and her face to shine on you and be gracious to you. Yisa Adonai panav elecha v'yosem lecha shalom. And may God turn his face, her face, to you and bring you the mark of the greatest power. Shalom, peace. Blessings, you all. You know how to find me. And we're going to do something that continues this and have some way for people to draw on me on an ongoing basis. And we'll figure out how that'll work. And you all will be able to email me your suggestions or Facebook PMs. I have a new name on Facebook. Artie used to be Egendorf Vipola. I'm having a name that's more Kabbalistically attuned with my life work that has the syllables and numerical, whatever, but you'll be able to find me. Great.
Thank you, Artie. Again, reach out to this guy and yeah, give him so he can figure out where those next steps may be.
Great.
Thank you, Artie.
Very welcome.
Thank you.
Very well.
Thank you very much.
Thanks for coming, everyone. Appreciate it.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.